Welcome back to the second half of NewsBreak Live, and joining me is Leslie Cortez from the Community Development Department for the City of Torrance, who is also the Stormwater Outreach Coordinator and Torrance Beach Captain for the annual Coastal Cleanup Day that is just around the corner. How are you, Leslie?
Hi, Hiba. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being on my show. And as I just mentioned, Coastal Cleanup Day is coming up on September 16th, and there's an event right here at Torrance Beach, which happens every year. Tell me about it.
That's right, Hiba. Actually, every third Saturday of September, California hosts the California Coastal Cleanup Day, which hosts about 60,000 or so volunteers throughout LA County, where they come up and clean hundreds upon thousands of pounds of trash through our from our oceans, waterways, lakes, and streams.
Who puts it on, and what is the historic significance?
Well, the City of Torrance puts it. We do our own event. Coastal Cleanup Day is an international event. It's this one day. Thousands of volunteers come out throughout the world, pretty much. And in California, with our 50 sites, we have 50 sites throughout California, spanning from Palos Verdes all the way up to Malibu and everything in between. So City of Torrance hosts our event in partnership with American Honda, the Torrance Area Chamber of Commerce, but in association with the Ocean Conservancy, the California Coastal Commission, Heal the Bay, and the LA Beaches and Harbors.
You just mentioned to me that nearly 300 people have already signed up for this event.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think people want to come on, volunteer, and why do you think the City of Torrance has done this for almost 20 years? What's the impact?
Well, that's the thing, is why we've done it for 20 years, is we get such a huge turnout at Torrance Beach, and a lot of people, believe it or not, we do have a beach in Torrance. It's a small stretch of beach, about a mile and a half, but every year the numbers seem to increase, and although Torrance is pretty much a small beach and a very clean beach, we do a lot of things during the course of 3 hours that bring people in almost every year. Not to mention, we're kind of like in a line of several South Bay beaches with Redondo. We partnership with Redondo Beach, Manhattan Beach, Hermosa Beach, Malaga Cove. So it's almost like a big South Bay party at the beach.
And a chance to meet different people and learn a thing or two about collecting garbage, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm. A lot of garbage.
We think, okay, our beaches are really clean, we live in the South Bay, but what trash do you think people are really surprised about when they're out there at the beach?
Well, it's not really so surprising, because a lot of people kind of see year to year or year after year what they find is, especially with the clean beaches where you don't find large pieces of trash. We have millions of pieces of small styrofoam, plastic caps, cigarette butts is a big huge issue. Now it's more straws from that are none of which are reusable. So we find a lot of more smaller pieces that can't be picked up by machines, or those are the type of things you kind of have to sift through and pick up.
What's the direct impact that volunteers kind of learn from when they're out there picking up this trash, you think?
Well, being such a clean beach, sometimes we have, when people are walking around, we use the opportunity, since it doesn't get super busy until, it gets busy in the beginning, but when people start really combing the beaches and picking up the trash, we utilize that time to educate, kind of like the big picture, being the stormwater coordinator and outreach coordinator for the city. A lot of what I do in my role is to protect our storm drains from trash and debris and toxics, and all of which, when you see those stencils along the storm drains where it says drains to ocean, the ocean is kind of like the end point, and we are really concerned about the damage that the detrimental things that the trash and toxics and debris can do, like the cigarette butts and the styrofoam, to our marine life. So we use that opportunity as an education for our community volunteers, and surprisingly enough, they become really involved and engaged in what we're teaching them. It's one of those aha moments that they have when we're out there.
How can people participate? Where is it taking place? If you can mention the website.
We staged the event over at Miramar Park, which is just above the shore, the sand over there at Torrance Beach. And you can register 2 ways. You can go on the www.healthebay.org website, click on Coastal Cleanup Day, or you can call the Community Development Department and myself I'm the beach captain this year, as well as my co-captain, Betty Perez, and either of us can sign you up. It's one thing to remember is all the volunteers must fill out a waiver, and if you're under 18, you have to either have a parent sign or a parent with you. And a lot of that number we mentioned, about the 300, a lot of them, a portion of them can be Girl Scout and Boy Scout clubs or organizations. So typically we bring in about 700 to 800 people, and then we're looking about to get that many again this year. So we're excited.
That's amazing. And can people show up maybe the day of, maybe they overheard from a friend or family member, or does the registration, is there a deadline?
We welcome everyone. You can show up the day of. The lines get pretty busy, but again, as I mentioned, there's 50 other sites too, a lot of other sites besides Torrance. Although I, of course, love our event. That's why we've been doing it for 20 years, and we do things like we have a kids corner, we do a plastic bag exchange where we give reusable tote bags. This year we're promoting our the non-use of single-use utensils, knives, forks, and spoons that they give away at restaurants, and we're providing reusable utensil kits this year, so that's something new. But there are 50 other sites, some of which are really in need of help, like the LA River area and some of the Dockweiler Beach, places that, sometimes we get these report cards from Heal the Bay, and sometimes they're not exactly, they're in need of a lot of volunteers each year.
What are some statistics that you can share with viewers about the impact of such a beach cleanup? And over the past 3 decades, how many people have come out to volunteer?
Well, the Ocean Conservancy established the event 3 decades ago, and since then, they've statistically we've picked up over the 3 decades about 12 million volunteers had picked up about, I want to say, 200 million pounds of trash. It's a lot of trash.
Wow. Can you tell me a little bit more about the other efforts you were mentioning? You mentioned the forks, but there were some other efforts that you're trying to promote in the city and getting people a little bit more eco-friendly.
Well, a couple of things. One of the themes of the coastal cleanups, and most of the beaches participate in it, is our zero waste, where we encourage our volunteers to bring their own gloves, reuse, bucket, reusable water bottles. That's one of the things. Speaking of water bottles and being plastic, those are some of the things that Heal the Bay, as far as their theme this year, is to ban the straws. So a lot of people have the single-use straws, and that's something that we've learned that we've been picking up a lot more each year. So we're trying to advocate for the, no single-use straws, and either not having the restaurants not use them, or to have, use the reusable water bottles.
Great. Anything else you'd like to add about the beach cleanup and the impact it has?
No, other than the fact that, we have a pretty good formula for success on these events that we do every year. We have such a great team that we call Team Torrance, which is a collaboration of City of Torrance employees, Honda employees, and the Torrance Area Chamber of Commerce employees. So it's a great dynamic, and if they didn't enjoy the event, they wouldn't be coming back every year to volunteer on the team. But again, we have something for everyone. It's a family event. What better way to come out and spend a Saturday morning than being at the beach with your friends and family? Like I said, we have a kids corner, we have a bag exchange, we have some giveaways, and rumor has it that Honda may be sponsoring lunches this year. So.
Oh, yummy. Can't beat that. Lunch at the beach.
Not at all.
And just to reiterate, people will have to go to healthebay.org to register. And if you're under 18, fill out a waiver.
Yes, everyone actually fills out a waiver.
Okay.
And it's always beneficial if you fill it out ahead of time. Now, if you register online, you'll get a link that will take you to the waiver, and then you can just have it printed up and signed by the time you get there. It kind of saves from the line you want to get out on the beach, because you'll sign in. The process is they'll sign in, you'll get a little safety talk, and some of the do's and don'ts when you're out on the beach cleaning, and then the pre-signed waiver helps you get through the line faster and get out on the beach.
Is there a large amount of trash that you're hoping to pick up this year, or usually it's whatever volunteers can do?
Well, I think that's the whole purpose of, like when you're coming out and it's a clean beach, you've done your job, and that we're being proactive as a community, and that's important to Torrance, and I'm sure a lot of the other beach cities, is that we see that A on our report card every year through Heal the Bay, because they do, they do report cards every year on each beach, and so we're hoping that the numbers go down. That's the goal. Unfortunately, they've kind of maintained a steady stream because people are, it's an education. I mean, it's a learning process for a lot of people, and I think educating the volunteers out there at the day of, they kind of come back with, come back home with something.
Well, Leslie, thank you so much for joining me tonight. It was a pleasure.
Appreciate it, Heba. Thank you.
And the event will take place on Saturday, September 16th, so you have some time to register. It'll be from 9 a.m. to noon. The meeting place is at Miramar Park. To register, you can also go to eventbrite.com and look up the event. And that does it for NewsBreak Live. If you ever have news or video that you'd like to share, please email us at newsbreak@torranceca.gov. And Torrance City Council has the night off. For Facebook and Twitter users, use #NewsBreakLive. Have a great night.